Good morning. Welcome to day 8 of 21 Days of Spiritual Success. I am Monica Reyes, and I am here to take you through 21 days of spiritual development, creating small shifts to make really big change in your life. So yesterday, we started to talk about the second chakra, which is well, actually, we started 2 days ago, but we built in a little bit more, built on top of the original lesson, and started to talk about letting go, surrendering to the flow. I taught you the seal of patience, and I'm interested to see how that works. You probably needed to do it more than one time. You can't just do it once and hope that it works. Because it's all about kind of connecting, retraining, and all that. Well, today I want to build on top of that lesson, and we're going to continue on in the second chakra, and we're going to talk about addiction. Addiction is interesting, and there's a lot of stigma about it, and addiction for me is freedom. So I used to say, this was like my saying, I've got an addictive personality. That was kind of like who I was. That was my story for quite some time. I had an addictive personality, but the more I said that story, the more it really made that come true. And so I was, I loved to have a lot of fun. I would, was drinking, I was doing drugs. Like there was a lot of it. I, was just didn't have a lot of value for myself. And it was really hard for me to actually, have the willpower, make choices. And this ranged from all over, from, eating and, all different types of things. But let me just tell you, like within me, because like I'm going to tell you who I am now. I am incredibly disciplined and incredibly focused. So, I'm proof that anybody can change at any time. And so for me, addiction was, getting rid of addiction was freedom. Because realizing, it was very empowering for me to realize that there wasn't something wrong with me. There wasn't, some genetic dysfunction or, but in fact it's from, some things that were out of my control. So I'm going to tell you an example. So let's just take choice, right? So maybe you have trouble making choices, right? Is there, maybe you don't have the willpower, or you're having trouble making these choices. You feel like you don't have the conscious control to make choices. You might be like eating automatically, and it's just like addictive, right? Addictive personality. Let's go back and look into your childhood. Did you, were you free to make the choices that you, wanted to, or did somebody make those choices for you? Did you make any wrong choices? Like it has everything to do with that. It's everything to do with the way that we grew up, and and so I'm going to give you another example of this. So I just caught the movie I'm Not Your Guru by Tony Robbins last night. It was a beautiful example of what I'm talking about. Thank you to my friend Alexandra, and I've been seeing it all over social media, so I got the chance to watch it last night. It was incredibly inspiring. I actually went to go see Tony Robbins a few years ago and was inspired, but this documentary was amazing. And in this, if you haven't caught the documentary, there's an example here where there was a man and his wife, I think it might have been a wife or girlfriend. They'd been together for 9 years, and she was like wild and free. You could see just by the sort of answers that she shared, like very, very wild and free. And he on the other side was very was not so free. In fact, you can see that he was hard on himself, and when he walked up, he had slumped shoulders, and you could just see that just by standing up there, he wasn't proud of who he was. And what Tony was able to do is Tony was able to get to the bottom, the root cause of it, and what he realized was that, it wasn't him, it was like his father was very overpowering. And so it was easier for him to just get out of his way. And so he learned how to get out of his way. And so he never stood up and was never a man. And so for the first time, in that moment, he was able to shift his perception and not like feel guilty and not be critical about himself and be like, what's wrong with there's something wrong with me, because there really is nothing wrong with anybody. There's nobody's broken. It's sometimes there are just things out of our control because of the way that we've been trained, or the way that we've been programmed. And so it's unprogramming and reprogramming. And this is what addiction is all about. It's just reprogramming. But you have to to break out of this compulsion, because that's what it is. It's a compulsion. It's the compulsion to check social media every hour. It's the compulsion to eat, and there are these attachments and associations. I used to smoke, and for every time I'd get in the car, immediately, it became this association. I would feel this craving, this urge, that was this natural, this natural craving that would just occur, and I feel, now that I've got awareness, I've been doing a lot of transformational work, I feel these really, really, like I really feel them. And so I notice, I take note, I'm very aware of them, which is why I love doing these challenges. I do tons of challenges for myself. I don't even post them, but like right now I'm doing 3 different meditations. And I also, I give up alcohol, I give up meat, I give up sugar. I do all sorts of things because I love to practice detachment, because I don't want to ever fall back under the, my addictions, or not being free to choose. And when you're able to detach, you have choices. So I can choose to do something. I can choose to eat, cookies instead of having this compulsion, and it allows me to really build that muscle of choice. And in my own history, I had a history like that. My mother was very strong. She was a very, very strong lioness, fierce woman. She still is. She's amazing. But, she thought she was helping me by doing everything for me. So I actually didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to make choices. I didn't know how to do anything. I was intimidated by, calling a teacher or calling a client, which is where a lot of that communication happened. And I got very it was paralyzing for me. And so I had a really hard time making choices for myself. And so once you're able to regain that control, lose the anxiety and realize that, it's not you, there's nothing wrong with you, but you've been programmed in this way. And, and you can look at it with love and compassion, because my mother was really doing it, because she didn't know any better. She came to this country when she was 17. Her mother didn't speak any English, couldn't read or write, so she was literally trying the best that she could. And I came out pretty damn good, and I would not change that for anything. But just realizing that everything's okay, and that I have the choice and I can choose, and so this is what today is about having the freedom, freeing your mind from any addictions. I'm not going to go too deep into addiction, because if you do have a serious addiction, you absolutely want to see somebody, and I've got, different providers, from hypnotists to all different types of coaches that I can refer you to, and please reach out to me if you feel like you've got a problem. But this is more of maybe you're checking your email too much, maybe you're not, because it will affect your life. I have a 3-year-old, and I absolutely know that there are days that I am glued to my email, because I'm excited about things that are happening. My business is moving forward. I've got people reaching out all over the place, but then I've got my poor daughter here that all she wants in this entire world is my attention, so it was really getting into, inhibiting the quality of her life, so I practice my detachment, and I'm aware of it, and it keeps me conscious. And so, now actually we've got family time, and so we're able, because we were so conscious of it, we're able to put in certain parameters. So between a certain time, no technology, it's just family time. So there are things that you can do in order to break these habits and break these addictions. But just know that if there's something going on with you and you're feeling like maybe you're losing control in some area of your life, there's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing that needs to be cured. You just need to dig deep and figure out, where is this coming from and why. I'm going to show you a meditation that can help you. And this you can use, it's a Kundalini meditation, but you can use it if you're trying to do anything. You're trying to stay sugar free, or maybe you're trying to, quit, alcohol, or, at least help you, or maybe you're, addicted to technology, whatever it is that, may be going on with you. And we don't have to be addicted to anything like that. It can be acceptance. It can be neglect. It can be rejection. There's there are so many, really a range of types of addiction, addicted to victimhood. If you were a victim, in your life, you may be addicted to that. And I hear a lot of clients that deal with that with parents, and having to handle that in a loving and compassionate way. But this is a really powerful meditation. It's called the Kriya for Healing Addictions. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands into fists. Our thumbs are going to be straight out, and we're going to put our thumbs on our temples. All right, and we're gonna press them, and you're gonna feel it right in the place where your thumb fits, real perfect, right, perfectly right on the side of your eyes. And then you're gonna focus on your brow point. And today there's going to be a mantra. It's Sa Ta Na Ma. All right, that's the mantra for today. And so you're going to close your eyes, you're going to focus on the brow point, and you're going to lock your back molars. So they're locked. Okay, mouth is closed, and you're gonna lock and release, lock and release, lock and release. And you should feel when you do that that your temples actually massage your thumbs. So you're gonna lock and release. And you're mentally going to chant Sa Ta Na Ma. It's a very healing mantra, and I'll post it. I'll write it on the comments so that you can see the mantra and you can practice this. But the recommended time for this is 5 to 7 minutes. But if just try it and see. Anytime I ever try a meditation, I try it for an extended period of time. Don't just try it once and think that it's going to help. But like try it. Try it for a couple of weeks. Try it for 30 days. And see what happens. So that's pretty much it. Oh, there was one more thing. Actually, I read that in research for this, which I thought was just brilliant. So, to shake things up and to kind of reprogram and retrain your brain, another thing you can do, super simple, is to kind of like build that muscle of willpower. Okay, so you know how you go into the supermarket, and right when you get in there, there's like salads and there's produce, and then as you keep going, you get to the ice cream, to the candy, and then there's the candy right at the pay counter, right? Well, they strategically do that because they know that you come up, you walk into the supermarket and you're like, oh, we're getting only what we need on this list. Like I've got my willpower, and by the time you get there, you lose your willpower. Actually, you end up like you going through your choices, like your that muscle. And then by the end, you're like, why not? Let me just get that candy. What if you instead went the other way, opposite? Start at the candy, start at the ice cream. You're probably going to say no to it, and then you work your way backwards. So that's a really great way to kind of shake things up and really build that muscle of willpower and choice. And that is the key to freedom, which is the key to unlocking addictive behavior. All right, so I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know how it goes. If you need more of an explanation about the Kriya, please feel free to reach out to me. I love that you guys are reaching out and you're asking me about different meditations and stuff. I love it. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to serve you for 21 days. So whatever you need, please, please, please reach out to me. You can email me, you can write me a message. But that is about it. So if you're in South Florida, there's an amazing organization called 100 Women Who Care. They're having an awesome, awesome event tonight. It's a beautiful, beautiful organization of women networking and philanthropy. I'm going to try to make it. And if so, I hope to see you all there. All right. Take care.